rushing since this morning, right? This session, that session, after lunch. Let's relax for a minute. We'll do some, breathing exercises and 2 minutes of silence. Okay? So please close your eyes and just be here in this room. Breathe in and breathe out. Just relax. Relax your body. Relax. Just don't think of anything. Be yourself. Breathe in and breathe out. Just a couple more times. Okay, so come out slowly. Okay, how was that? Good, very good. So how many of you heard about Ayurveda? Okay, good. So I hope you read my introduction in the flyer, but I'm going to still introduce myself. I'm Jaya Daptardar. I'm Ayurvedic doctor from National Ayurvedic Medical Association of United States. I graduated in Ayurvedic medicine from India. I was in the school for 6.5 years and then did my residency and did my practice in the hospital. So when I came here, I started practicing. So I have been practicing from 20 years. Ayurvedic medicine is coming up now as people are not affording the other modalities. People are looking into the new menu of choices. So today we're going to talk about live easefully, not stressfully by Ayurveda. Ayurveda is a huge, intense science of medicine from India. It's practiced for 5,000 years and still they're practicing there. So it's hard to put it into 1 hour educational session. But we're going to learn about the philosophy of Ayurveda. What does that mean? And how does that affect your dosha? We'll learn what dosha is and how to blend your dosha with the nature and the nature's rules. So that's what we're going to do. But before we go to Ayurvedic learning, I want you to read this disclaimer because it's important. This is the whole thing we're going to talk today is all about education and educational purposes, not to treat or diagnose here. I mean, we can't say that don't diagnose yourself. You can do that, but I'm not going to diagnose you or treat you. So this is about the disclaimer. I have my patient story to share with you today. Before we go further from here, there is no other evidence than the patient's story. And my patient, she wanted to come here and share, but she's a teacher, she couldn't come today. So she sent me a video to share with you. Sorry about that. So as she mentioned that her daughter was suffering from acne, she was also suffering from anxiety and depression. Ayurveda treats body, mind, and soul together as harmony, not only the body. So it was very important for her to treat the acne, but it was very important for her to be in herself. She wasn't social. She was depressed. But after the treatment of Ayurveda, she got better. She's now traveling a lot. She talks to me very now and then, and very happy. So, healthcare future. I have a question mark there. Do you know? Do I know? No. So we don't know. So what do we have to do with increasing the healthcare cost and everything else, and everything depends upon the insurance? What we have to do? We have to develop our own future of our own healthcare needs, right? Okay, and we have to be responsible for our health. What we have to do in terms of our diet, in terms of disciplining our day-to-day life, that's up to us, right? That's what Ayurveda does. It teaches how to live in optimal health. So, and we have to also find out what's in the healthcare menu. Today, that's why we are here in this integrated medicine conference, to find all different modalities and how to include in our menu of choices. So now we know that we have a lot of choices. Not only definitely you have to go to your doctor, do your physical, find out what he or she says, but also find some alternatives. So medicine is not the only thing. There are so many other areas that there is a need now for us to learn and include in our menu of choices. So today's choice is Ayurveda. What is Ayurveda? How many doctors or nurses are here today? Okay. Counselors, therapists? Okay, good. So Ayurveda was the only healthcare stream in India at that time, and there was no other medicine. But they treated everybody in every different specialty. There were Ayurvedic GYN doctors, ENT doctors, surgery, everything was there, and they lived long life. So we have to go back and check why and how and why it's still there and they're still practicing in India. It is widespread now in so many different countries, and people are adapting it and learning it, what is different in this modality. So it is Sanskrit word. Ayurveda is a Sanskrit word. Ayur is life and Veda is science. So it's a science of life. Some people say wisdom of life. Some people say it is science for optimum life. So this is again originated 5,000 years ago. It is a sister science of yoga. So when you learn yoga, Ayurveda comes in. When you learn Ayurveda, yoga comes in. So yoga, meditation, Ayurveda, they're all sisters. And they have many specialties, as I mentioned, like pediatric, internal medicine, OBGYN, ENT. So it's not a small thing. It's not just a small wellness modality. It's widespread. So there is a lot to learn. Any question? Okay, so what is Ayurveda? Like I mentioned before, it's all about balancing yourself. So see this person sitting here, it's balancing. So balancing within yourself plus balance yourself with the nature's goodness. Nature, according to Ayurveda, is made up of 5 elements. So this person here is sitting, balancing within those 5 elements. It's just a picture, but the hollowness here, this round, is the space. The blue thing there is air. water, earth, and fire. The fire is there. It's not red anymore. I was looking, but the color looks different here. But those 5 elements are within us too. So let's see how it works. So this 5-element theory is the base of Ayurveda. So we have to go back again and again to learn that, because once we have those concepts clear about the 5 elements and how to tune up with the nature, with the season, what we eat, how we eat, day, time of the day, then we can balance ourselves and be in optimum health, and we can teach our family, we can teach our friends. So let's see what these 5 elements are, like we learned before. But these are not only like air, it is a quality. It is a quality. Whatever is called air, whatever is moving is air. Wind, that's air. Whatever moves you, like your respiration, your movements, it's all air. That's air. Fire is energy. The warm energy comes from sun, but not only that, but it also transforms our mind, transforms our food. It digests our food, and that's the concept of fire. Pitta, it's called pitta in Ayurveda. Water is the fluidity. Whatever is the fluid substance in the nature is water. Ether is just the space, hollowness is ether. Then earth is the solidity. Whatever is the solid substance, the mass, the earth, the food we eat, it's all earth. It's all solid substance. Whatever is solid substance, it's earth. But then how that reflects into the doshas in Ayurveda. Let's see next. So Ayurveda is basically made up of, or rounded. It's rounded around this 3 doshas. It's called kapha, pitta, and vata. But all 3 doshas, where they came from? They came from these 5 elements. So kapha is the earth part, which is cold and weak and heavy. That's in our body. It's the quality. It's called kapha. And this is the basically responsible for the lubrication in the body and the body mass. Pitta is made of water and fire, from those elements. So in our body, the metabolism is pitta. The transformation of energy is pitta. For example, we have rice, right? We can't eat rice until we cook rice. How do we cook rice? We transform that rice into a plate of rice, right? We cook the rice. So that transformation is pitta. That transformation happens in our body as well. When we eat food, it gets digested through the metabolism. That metabolism is pitta. And then it transforms, and we will see later in the slides, it also transforms in our mind. The same way, kapha, this is the manifestation, happens later, but we'll talk about it more. Vata, the next one. The vata is air and ether. So whatever is actually making us move on day-to-day basis. The respiration, voluntary, involuntary movements of the body. It's all vata in our system. That's called vata. So that vata is responsible for the respiration, for circulation, excretion, all our day-to-day movements. So these 3 doshas, they have to be balanced in the body. So it's not like you're only kapha, you're only pitta, or you're only kapha or vata. I get that question every time. What's my dosha? I know, that's the right question. But you have all 3 in your body, but there is one dominant dosha that everybody has, and that's the concept, the scientifically genes, like, you're born with. So you're born with one of those doshas, but you have all three. But again, we're not saints or we're not perfect. So we have those one or two combination of predominant doshas. So maybe I'm Pitta Vata, maybe someone is Kapha Pitta, someone is Vata Pitta. There are combinations. So those combinations come from, your birth, but they change. They change by the age. They change by what food you eat, how you eat, and by the season as well. So when you go to Ayurvedic doctor and do your evaluation, and I get that every time the patient comes to me and say, oh, last time I went to this and they said I'm Kapha. Okay, I do the evaluation and I said, you're not Kapha, you're Pitta Vata. Why? Because when you went there, you were a child. Now you're an adult. So there's a difference between the age and the doshas as well. Plus, what you're eating, where you're living, your season, that changes too. So that doesn't remain the same because people do evaluation online nowadays and say, I did and this is, but the questionnaire, not only the questionnaire is important, but to get your pulse, to look at you, your tongue, your eyes, your hair, everything matters in Ayurveda. It's like 1 or 2 hours of evaluation. It's not just to 15 minutes or 20 minutes. But once that physician knows your constitution and then he or she can prescribe, I can't say prescribe, but suggest some herbs and suggest what to eat and what not to eat, seasonal eating, cleansing, what do you need. So that's about the doshas. That's about the dosha concept in Ayurveda. Okay. So these 3 great doshas, each dosha has specific expression in every dimension of human being. So this dosha, like Vata dosha, it has manifestation in our body, in our mind, and the spirit level as well. So let's look at Vata dosha. Vata dosha we spoke about, it's all about moving, it's all about air. In our body, the responsibility of Vata is movements. But the Vata's manifestation in mind is your thoughts come and go. That's Vata. So if you're not stable with your mind, with your Vata in your mind, if you're not stable, what happens? You're sitting here, you're listening to me, but no, you're not listening to me. Your mind is somewhere else, thinking about what's for dinner, right? Or thinking about something else that you're stressed for, like what's tomorrow, what I'm going to do tomorrow, or my notes are not done tomorrow, right? So that is the Vata moment in the mind. So the manifestation, mind level manifestation of Vata. Then the spiritual level. Spiritual level in Ayurveda, because we're talking about the Ayurvedic theory. In Ayurvedic theory, Vata is prana. Prana means the respiration. You have to breathe when you are alive. So that state is prana. If prana is not there in our body, we're dead. That's called prana. Now, Pitta. So the Pitta is responsible for heat. Anything that is energy, the warm energy in our body. Responsible for metabolism, responsible for nerve sensation, that's all Pitta. That's body level. But mind level, Pitta is responsible for intelligence. The intelligent mind has Pitta personality. But everything has to be balanced. If that is not balanced, like I said, if Vata is not balanced, your mind is somewhere else. If Pitta is not in balanced condition, you're not thinking well. You're smart, but you're not. You're making quick decision, or you're making something different to your body. So Pitta is a brilliance. In spiritual level, it's called Tejas. Tejas, that means brilliance, energy and brilliance. That's Pitta. So the third one, it's Kapha. Kapha is responsible for binding together. Whatever binding in our body is our Kapha. Kapha, the Kapha personalities are very calm when they are not elevated, when they are not out of balance. So their mind is a calm mind. They're more into relationship. They're more into bringing to the team. So that's the Kapha mind. That's the manifestation of Kapha in the mind. Spiritual level, Kapha is Ojas. Ojas, that means stamina. The extract out of everything is Kapha. The spiritual level is the language that Ayurveda speaks. That's different. But those are the terms that are given in Ayurvedic philosophy. Prana is Vata, Tejas, Pitta, Ojas, Kapha. Okay? Those are Sanskrit words because the whole theory came from Sanskrit language. And then it got translated into English. Okay, so this is, I always get this question, how do I recognize my personality? So this is the simple way, very simple way. It's not perfect, but at least, I don't know if you can see the color. I made Pitta red. Can you see that red? Pitta red?
No.
No? Oh, I know, it's weird. But I try to make the colors appropriate to the doshas. Okay, so Kapha dosha. Kapha dosha personality is a little bit of heavy side, but they're cool. That's why it was green. The Pitta personalities are bright, but they're kind of a medium. They're medium, but intelligent people. Water personalities are thin. They don't really gain weight, but they are really into movement. They're always like hyper, and that's why it's blue, because it's hyper, the color of the wind. So those are the personalities. It's not like you see the person and you will get that personality. You know, there is more to it, but at least this is true. But at least this is true. The personality-wise, when you see the heaviness and the medium and the thin personality, you will definitely in your mind that's me. I mean, if you look at yourself, and then you will work on it. Like, okay, kind of about the personality. I should not go when there's wind or it's windy outside. So how this balance goes in the nature? See, if wind is calm, our mind is calm, right? The nature is calm. But when that wind blows like crazy, hurricane or like a tornado, there is a problem. That's how imbalance goes in our body as well. The same thing, fire. Fire is good, the sunlight is good, but if it's too much, you know, you can burn your skin. Or the fire, it burns anything, you know, in the woods. Water, when it's balanced in the nature, everything is fine. But when it floods, it's a disaster. So that happens in our body too. When it's not in balance, that is a disaster. That's why, according to Ayurveda, the doshas, if they're not in balance, that means there's illness, that particular illness. And when they're balanced, we're healthy. Okay, so it's all about harmonious balance of body, mind, and spirit. But to blend that with the nature's roots as well. So how that works with the nature's roots? So if it's heavy winter and it's snowing, and the person is what the personality. It definitely affects to that particular personality because of the personality from the birth, but it affects everybody. If it's winter and you work outside for 5 hours without covering yourself, it's gonna bother you. You're gonna get sick, right? So you have to make sure that you have to put your layers on or eat something warm to not to get sick. So that is how you tune up with the nature and blend with nature's rules. Okay, so what is modern medicine philosophy saying here? They're not saying that body, mind, and spirit have to be treated and it has to be in balance. No. You go to the doctor, your body parts get treated, you have hand broken, gets treated, right? You have a problem with the digestion, gets treated, problem with the liver gets treated, problem with the heart gets treated, right? Nothing to do with the mind. Do they? No. Mind gets treated separately, so they refer you to a psychiatrist, right? If you go to a psychiatrist and say, I have digestive problem, digestion problem, or liver problem, you get referred to another doctor, right? Do they talk to each other? No. That is why we're here, for integration. That's the only thing is going to work, because there should be integration between them as well, right? And that's the thing happens in alternative medicine, any alternative medicine. It's all about body, mind, and spiritual level, and the balance between all three. So the treatment is, if you go to the doctor, treatment is by protocol, not by individual. Not by individual. It's not too much focus. I don't think you are in doctor's office for more than half an hour, even if you go to the physical. Can you talk to your doctor like friendly and explain everything? And the doctor is going to listen. So Ayurvedic therapy is individualized. Whatever your prakriti is, whatever your dosha is, they work with that. And it's more about the patient and physician relationship too. So I know my patient, if I ask them, I can bring like 10, 15 videos to show, because that's how our relationship is. That's how the closeness is. They can text me, they can email me, they can call me. So because that is very important, that connectivity changes your psychology. That doctor is with me, right? And that's the big thing about treating any disease. It has to go through the psychological level. That I have support. I have support. I can call anytime. I can ask any question. That supports more than anything else. So I always say that we are our own healers. We have a capacity to heal. We have to be responsible for our own health. And that is all about the alternative and complementary medicine. Whether it's yoga, whether it's hypnotherapy, whether it's acupuncture, whether it's Ayurveda. And again, it is all about insurance coverage.